I never thought a simple dare would change my life forever. It started as a joke. Emma, my girlfriend, teasing me about my soft features, my delicate hands, and the way my hair always seemed to fall perfectly around my face. "You'd make such a cute girl," she said with a playful smirk one evening, twirling a strand of my hair between her fingers. I laughed it off at the time. But that night, when she was asleep, I stood in front of the mirror, her words echoing in my head. Would I? A thought I had buried deep inside me for years started clawing its way to the surface. I had always been fascinated by the silky fabrics, the soft curves, the elegance, but I never dared to act on it. Until now. As I reached into Emma's wardrobe, my heart pounded. The scent of her perfume clung to the dresses, a forbidden invitation. My fingers trembled as I pulled out a lilac satin dress. It felt so light, so delicate, yet the weight of what I was doing settled heavily on my chest. I could stop. I should stop. But I didn't. My name is Noah Carter. 24 years old, living in a small apartment in the city with Emma, my girlfriend of 3 years. To the outside world, I was just an ordinary guy working a dull office job, hanging out with friends, playing video games. But inside, I was anything but ordinary. There was always a part of me that felt different, a hidden side of me that no one knew about, not even Emma. I never dared to explore it, never let myself dwell on the thought too long. Until that night. The first time I wore her dress, it sent a shiver down my spine. The smooth fabric, the way it clung to my body, the way it transformed me, it felt right. Like something had been missing all along, and I had finally found it. But with that realization came fear. What if Emma found out? What if she thought I was a freak? I convinced myself it was a one-time thing, just an experiment, just curiosity. But deep down, I knew that was a lie. Our apartment wasn't anything special, just a cozy 2-bedroom space in the heart of the city. The walls were lined with Emma's artwork, her passion bleeding into every canvas. She was a dreamer, full of life, while I was ordinary. She always pushed me to be more, to explore beyond my comfort zone. "Noah, you always play it safe," she'd say. "One day you're going to have to take a risk." If only she knew the risk I was already taking behind her back. At work, I was the quiet guy. The one who got his tasks done, never made a fuss, never stood out. Nobody suspected a thing. Nobody knew the thoughts that swirled in my mind when I sat at my desk, my fingers itching to feel the softness of silk again. I was leading a double life, one that was becoming harder and harder to ignore. Emma was everything I wasn't: bold, adventurous, unafraid. She was the type of girl who could walk into a room and command attention without even trying. And for some reason, she had chosen me. I loved her, I truly did. But love wasn't always enough to silence the thoughts in my head. She had no idea that while she was away at work, I was in our bedroom, rifling through her closet, experimenting, transforming. I told myself it was harmless, a secret that didn't need to be shared. But secrets have a way of unraveling. And mine was about to be exposed in the most terrifying way possible. Days passed, but the feeling didn't go away. If anything, it grew stronger. Every time Emma left for work, I found myself standing in front of her closet, heart pounding, fingers itching to reach out. I told myself no. I told myself this was dangerous. But the moment I pulled out another dress, this time a soft pink one with lace trimming, I knew there was no turning back. I wasn't just experimenting anymore. I was craving it. I carefully laid out the dress on the bed and hesitated for a long moment. Was this who I was? Was I crossing a line I could never return from? But as soon as I slipped it on, a shiver ran down my spine. It felt right. More right than anything had in a long time. But that wasn't enough. I wanted more. My hands shook as I moved to Emma's vanity. My reflection in the mirror was still me, Noah, a guy in a dress. I needed to change that. I picked up her foundation, hesitating before dabbing it onto my skin. Slowly, carefully, I blended it in, erasing my usual look. Mascara, lipstick, a touch of blush. With every stroke of makeup, my heart pounded harder. Then came the wig. A chestnut brown one Emma had used for a costume party last year. I pulled it on, adjusting it carefully, making sure it sat just right. And when I looked back at my reflection, I froze. I didn't see Noah anymore. I saw someone else. Someone beautiful. Someone I couldn't look away from. My breathing turned shallow. Was this really me? Could I really look like this? I twirled slightly, watching the dress flow around me, feeling a thrill rush through my veins. But the thrill was quickly replaced by fear. What if someone saw me? What if Emma came home early? I shouldn't be doing this. But I couldn't stop. Lost in the moment, I didn't hear the front door unlock. I didn't hear the footsteps in the hallway. I only realized something was wrong when I heard Emma's voice. "No, you home." My blood turned to ice. Panic surged through me as I turned to the mirror one last time, makeup perfectly done, the dress fitting snugly, the wig flawless. There was no time. I barely managed to rip the wig off and toss it under the bed before I heard her steps approaching the bedroom door. I grabbed a makeup wipe, frantically scrubbing my face. The door creaked open. I spun around, heart pounding. Emma stood there, eyeing me suspiciously. "Why do you look so flustered?" she asked, stepping closer. I forced a laugh. "Just surprised. Didn't hear you come in." She narrowed her eyes. "Were you hiding something?" My stomach twisted. Did she know? I had barely managed to clean the evidence, but had I missed something? She stepped past me, eyes scanning the room. My heart pounded louder with every second. Then she spotted something. I followed her gaze. My stomach dropped. On the edge of the bed, a single streak of red lipstick on the bedsheet. Emma's eyes flicked back to me, confusion and suspicion mixing in her gaze. "No, what is this?" My breath caught in my throat. I was trapped. My mind raced for an excuse. Any excuse. Oh, that must be from you," I said, forcing a laugh. "Maybe from last night?" Emma frowned, arms crossing. "No, I haven't worn red lipstick in weeks." I swallowed hard. My mouth was dry. Think. "Maybe I accidentally sat on one of your old makeup wipes," I offered weakly. Her frown deepened. She glanced back at the bed, at the faint lipstick stain, then back at me. I held my breath. Seconds felt like hours. Finally, she sighed. "Fine, whatever. Just weird." I nodded quickly, trying to seem normal, though my heart was pounding. She walked toward the closet, and I nearly collapsed with relief. But then, wait. I froze. Emma was staring at her vanity. My stomach lurched as I followed her gaze. The makeup. I had wiped my face in a rush. But in my panic, I hadn't cleaned up the vanity. The brushes were out of place. The lipstick cap wasn't fully closed. And worst of all, her foundation bottle was still uncapped, a fresh smudge of beige visible on the surface. Emma turned to me, eyes narrowing. "No, were you messing with my makeup?" Blood drained from my face. "What? No, why would I do that?" I forced out a laugh. She stepped closer. "Then why does it look like someone used it?" I had no answer. The silence stretched. Emma's expression changed, confusion shifting into realization. A slow, creeping understanding. "No." Her voice was softer now, almost hesitant. "Did you?" I shook my head wildly. "No, of course not." But my panic betrayed me. Emma's eyes flicked to my hands. I followed her gaze and realized my nails. A faint shimmer of clear polish still clung to the edges of my nails. I had forgotten to wipe it off completely. Emma inhaled sharply. "Oh my God." I backed away instinctively. "Emma, I can explain." "Explain what?" "That you've been dressing up in my clothes." Her voice rose. "That you've been using my makeup." That you, she stopped, shaking her head, processing. I was shaking. I had been caught. Emma paced the room, running a hand through her hair. She looked at me again, her expression unreadable. How long? She finally asked. I didn't answer. No, how long have you been doing this? I hesitated. Lying wouldn't work anymore. A while, I admitted, my voice barely above a whisper. Emma exhaled sharply, rubbing her temples. I don't get it, she muttered. Why? Is this a fetish thing? Or, she trailed off, her gaze searching mine. I don't know, I admitted. I feel different when I do it. I cut myself off. I couldn't even say it. Emma studied me. So what are you saying? She asked slowly. I looked away. I don't know. The silence was unbearable. Then Emma sighed. You should have told me. My head snapped up. Wait, you're not angry, she shrugged. I mean, I am. But mostly because you hid it from me. I don't know how to feel about this, no. She shook her head, looking at me again, really looking. I mean, do you like looking like a girl? My throat tightened. I couldn't answer. Because I knew the truth, and I was afraid to say it. Emma studied me for a long moment. Then, a strange look crossed her face. All right, she said finally. All right, I echoed. Yeah, she nodded, then smiled too sweetly. If this is something you really like, maybe we should see how far you're willing to go. Something about the way she said it sent a chill down my spine. What do you mean? She took a step closer, tilting her head. You like dressing up. You like wearing makeup. Fine. Let's do it properly. My stomach twisted. Emma, no. She held up a hand. No more excuses. No more hiding. You want this, right? I hesitated. I did want it. But not like this. Not under her gaze. Not under her control. Emma smirked. Then let's see if you're really ready to be my new daughter. I sat frozen as Emma pulled out a bag from under the bed. She had planned this. Come on, Noah, she teased, pulling out a silky pink dress. If you're going to do this, you might as well go all the way. I swallowed hard. Emma, I don't think. Shh. She held a finger to my lips. No more thinking, just two. She was enjoying this. Too much. Before I could protest, she grabbed my wrist and pulled me toward the vanity. Let's start with makeup, she said, a dangerous glint in her eyes. I should have fought back. I should have said no. But deep down, I didn't want to. I let her paint my face. The brushstrokes, the soft powders, it felt right. But the way Emma was looking at me sent chills down my spine. Now the dress, she whispered. My breath hitched as she held it up. I stared at it. And then, slowly, I reached for it. Emma's smirk widened. I slid into the dress, my hands shaking. The fabric hugged my body, transforming me in an instant. Look at you, she whispered, spinning me toward the mirror. I barely recognized myself. I wasn't Noah anymore. You make such a pretty little girl, Emma cooed. I shivered. Emma, this is too much, I finally said, voice trembling. I think we should stop. Her smile didn't fade. Oh, sweetheart, she purred, but we've only just begun. I turned to her, confusion and fear swirling in my gut. What do you mean? She pulled out her phone and snapped a picture. I gasped. Emma, what the hell? She grinned. Insurance. My stomach dropped. Delete that. No. I reached for the phone, but she yanked it back. Relax, sweetheart. It's just a little keepsake. Emma, this isn't funny. Oh, I know. Her smile widened. But you see, now I have proof. And if you ever lie to me again. She dangled the phone in front of me. Everyone will see just how pretty you can be. My blood turned to ice. I was trapped. And there was no way out.